Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to do this starfish. He's a pretty accurate depiction of some starfishes, but starfishes all look quite different. But this is the one we're going to be doing. I'm going to be doing it in this sparkly pink. So it's not going to be the same color, but this is still 4-weight worsted. This was a 4-weight worsted. And then this white is just a 4-weight white. I will be using a 4.5 hook for this. And we're going to start with the points of the star because we need to make 5 of them, and I'm not going to make all 5 of them with you, so we're going to start with the points, and then we sew all of them together, or crochet all of them together, not sew. So I'm going to start with the first point with you, and then you can go ahead and, oh, I knew there was a knot in there somewhere. And then you can go ahead and make all your other 5 points. So you're going to start with a magic ring. And 6 single crochets. So your next round is going to be one, because we want our starfish to be pointy. Our next round is just going to be 1 single crochet and an increase. You're going to need a stitch marker because we're not slip stitching or chaining. We're doing this amigurumi style. So we're going to go right into the stitch. And we're going to put the marker. That's 1 single crochet, and then your next stitch gets the increase of 2 single crochets in the same space. This is not a worsted yarn, this is a 4-weight because I just got snagged. Oh, I might have got snagged on the sparkly stuff. I think this might be a 4-weight. Anyway, this may come out smaller than the one I had, but 1 single crochet increase all the way around, giving you 9 stitches. So your next round is going to be 2 single crochets and an increase. This brings you up to 12 stitches. That's number 1 with your marker, always number 1. Your next stitch gets 1 single crochet, so that's 2 single crochets, and then your next stitch gets the increase of 2 single crochets in the same space, and repeat. You can flip this around if you want. Your next round is going to be 3 single crochets and an increase. That's 3 single crochets, and then your increase of 2 single crochets in the same space. Your next round is going to be 4 single crochets and an increase. That's 4 single crochets, and then your increase of 2 single crochets in the same space. So you should have 18 stitches. From here, you're going to do 7 rows of 1 single crochet in each of those 18 stitches, and you're going to fasten off. You're going to fasten off all of them except the very last one. You're going to stay attached, and we're going to meet back here. So every single one of them, so you need to build 5. I'm going to leave you to build 5. The first screen you're going to read is going to be the continuation of building it, so 7 rows of 1 single crochet. The next screen you're going to see is going to be the pattern to build the entire star point. You need to do 5. Well, you need 5 altogether, so after this one you do 4 more star points. Once you have all 5 of your star points, the very last one you build, you're going to stay attached. And then we're going to meet back here, and we're going to crochet all of them together. So that's what's going to go on. So for now, just worry about following my screen prompts and doing your 7 rows of 1 single crochet in each of these 18 stitches, and I will see you on the other side. So I've got my all my pieces done. We're going to start crocheting them all together. So don't worry about your stragglers right now. We'll worry about them after. However, the spaces that they're in, I think I pulled that through for some reason. The spaces that they're in, when we attach, we're going to attach right next to where you fastened off. So we're going to attach by going into this stitch with every single one of them. So I just want to make sure I didn't pull my yarn through every one of them. Yep, I did. It's such a habit to pull my yarn through that next stitch that I think I did it for all of them. So if you did that like I did, then you can just pull them out. So the last one you weren't supposed to fasten off of. So hopefully you didn't. So we're going to do our 1 single crochet to get our marker in place, and then we're going to add one. So we're just going to come across, stick our hook into there. We're going to yarn over, so you can just let that flip over, and you're going to make a stitch. And then that counts as 1. So you're going to do 8 stitches. So that counts as the first stitch. So this is 8. It brings me all the way to the other side of the petal. I can't seem to get my yarn out. We grab the next one and we do the same thing. We're going to go in beside where we fastened off. You're going to pull tight. You're going to make the stitch. I just flip it over. That counts as your first stitch. Now you're going to do 8 single crochets. And that's number 1. So that's 2. And you're going to do the same for all the other ones. So now that you've got them all attached, you're just going to crochet all the way back around to your marker. I didn't put a number down, so I don't know. So you're going to come around to the spot where you fastened off, and it's going to be a little tough to put a stitch in there, but you can try. I more or less just push the spot over my hook. So that's my knot from where I fastened off. I've got no other stitches. Actually, that's not true. I got one more stitch. I can probably fit in there. That would cut down on my sewing. So go in as far as you think you can with your... You can even share this space, and that'll cut down on the sewing in between. So my numbers are probably not going to be the same as your numbers because after this, because I don't know what you're doing as far as where you're putting your stuff. So because I shared that space, I don't normally share the space. I normally just sew it with a piece of straggler, but we'll see how it turns out. I didn't do that on my last one. So I just try to get into every space I can that's available, if that helps. So on your very last one, just do your 8 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So once you got your 8 single crochets across on your last one, make sure you've got this laying correctly. You're going to come across 8 single crochets over from this one. So 2, 4, 6, 8. And you're going to go into that 8th stitch. And that's how you're going to join them. Just like that. So you should have 5. Obviously, that's what we made. And that's how you join them. So at this point, my marker's way over here. I need to move it. At this point, we're going to move our marker to right here. And we're just going to do 1 single crochet in each stitch around. So this is what you should have. I just tucked all my stragglers down inside. So this is what you should have. It's a little awkward at first. And I won't be giving you any numbers because everybody's numbers are going to be different. Your next round is going to be 3 single crochets and a decrease. And if you have extra room after your sequence, just put single crochets in there. Because again, I don't know what your numbers are. That's number 1. That's 3 single crochets, and then your decrease. Now if you want to do invisible decreases, knock your socks off. And repeat. That's 3 single crochets, and then your decreases. Go into your stitch, pull up a loop. Go into the next stitch, pull up a loop. Yarn over, pull through all 3. That's a decrease. All the way around. Your next round is going to be 2 single crochets and an increase, or a decrease. That's number 1 with your marker. That's number 2, and then your decrease. All the way around. And then after that you can do 1 single crochet in each stitch, and I will see you on the other side. So this would just look like a mess of gobbledygook at this point, and that's because we're building this hump. It'll all go into shape, but we need a certain shape. This side's going to be completely different than what we do up here. So it should look like a bunch of gobbledygook, but if you look at the picture of starfishes, the one that I've replicated anyway, there's plenty of them, but the one I've replicated looks like this. And then their face is actually down here. Eyes and mouth are down below, and I didn't put anything on because nobody would see it. So, but that's the one I'm doing. So this kind of feels and looks like just a mess of crap right now. Your next row is going to be 1 single crochet and a decrease. So whatever stitches you've had extra throughout, you're going to continue to have them. So it's no big deal. I've had to put 3 extra stitches outside my sequence. That's number 1, and then your decrease. Jump right into it, all the way around, and then we're gonna be finished after this. We're just gonna do a simple decrease after this, not the 1 single crochet. So I'll just worry about this row for now. 1 single crochet decrease all the way around. I haven't been counting my stitches, so I have no idea what my number is. But you don't really need to worry about your numbers as far as this goes. It's just a starfish. If it looks like a starfish at the end, then you're good. It can be awkward, I get it. But it's so cute. You could put a front face, actually that finished my sequence. You could put a front face on them, like a face somewhere at the top if you do like a cartoonish type of a face, but so this row you're just gonna decrease around and then cinch the rest of it shut. So you don't need a marker anymore. I'm probably only gonna do it part way around. I don't need that big of a hole, but I don't need a real small one either, so decrease until you're satisfied. Maybe one more time, and then I'll fasten off. I knew I was going to catch that. There's some of this sparkly stuff is hard to deal with sometimes. So fasten off. We're going to have to reattach to do the other side. This side gets the cinch closed. Well, the other side we're going to cinch closed too. We're just going to not do such a big thing on the other side. It's going to be way faster. So just grabbing one piece of yarn, you're going to go in one and out the other. All the way around. You don't need to pull yet. In and out. You can do every other one too if you want to. Doesn't really matter as long as you go in and out to cinch this up. That's good enough for me. So I'm just gonna pull. Now I need to secure my cinch. Maybe with a knot. So I'm gonna pull back and forth, and that's gonna tighten that right down. For now, you can just leave this. We don't need to worry about that for now. I want you to, before we start, put stuffing in your points, and then we'll reattach and start that. You don't need to overstuff. Like, you don't need a whole lot. Just make sure when you're stuffing it that you have what you want in each tip. You're not really going to be able to come back and shove it down the tip again. So this gives you a better idea of what you're working with. So, make a slip knot. We're going to reattach. Oh my gosh. You're going to reattach wherever you want to start, and you're just going to do one single crochet in each stitch around. I'm going to start in a weird, easy spot. So when you reattach, make sure that goes tight. You're going to reattach, and then in the same space you're going to put a stitch. Because your reattachment isn't going to count as a stitch. So now we're going to do one single crochet in each stitch around. And again, I have no idea what your numbers are going to be. And it's very, very awkward. I am just about, this is where I started. I'm just about back around. I've got a few stitches left. There was one there that had one piece of yarn, so I did not go into it. You may have found that in a couple of places. So when you come back around, even though we're doing this amigurumi, I just want you to slip stitch into that space, but you don't have to chain one, you just need to slip stitch. This guy can get shoved down into your thing. So I want you to put a stitch marker right here. So your next round is going to be 2 single crochets and a decrease. So you want these to kind of fold up a bit, because that's what starfishes do. You just make sure that your stuffing is getting down into that area as well. So I'm probably going to jam some more down after. I can cut this off. That's just my weave from before. You can fasten off. You just need a long enough tail to cinch this closed. This is pretty crappy stuff to work with. I would suggest not working with it. Of course, I'm not a fan of a lot of red hearts. Go into, like we did before, just one piece and out the next. If you wanted to skip every other one, you can do so. It's not gonna make that big of a difference, I don't think. I've never done it, so I don't know. I don't think I've ever done it. I can't even get out of this other stitch without getting caught on this sparkly stuff. The stuff's pretty, but my gosh. So before I cinch this closed, I'm going to put a little more stuffing in it, just because I don't feel like it has enough. Not sure how I got wrapped around my leg, but so once you pull your cinch closed, you can make a knot and secure that cinch. So it does kind of look spread open like this, but we yeah, see, I still didn't put enough stuffing in there. I still got this. Needs some stuffing. I'll move my stuffing around after I'm not on camera anymore, but anyway. I'm going to secure my cinch again since I had to pull so hard. I just don't feel like it's that tight. So once you've got your cinch done, You can just go in and weave back and forth. Yeah, I gotta move my stuffing around a lot. Getting stuck around these legs. So just decide what you want the top and the bottom to look like. I gotta move some stuffing over here. I did not stuff mine very good. Anyway, you're gonna need some white because we're going to be putting the white on, and then we're going to be raising this area that we put the white on. Do you see? That's all raised. So I had a crap ton of yarn because you got to go all the way around. So get your white, thread it, put a double knot on the end. So it doesn't really matter where you go in, it just matters where you come out. So pick whatever side you're going to be on. I'm going to go in through the bottom and out the top, preferably somewhere in the middle, because I'm just going to start. I mean, we're going to have to move our yarn around, but and you certainly don't have to do this. You can just be done with the video here if you wanted to. So I've got a lot of yarn. I'm just going to pull that through. So I am not pulling the knot in. I'm going to poke it in later. Alright. We're going to go up and down. We're going to move our yarn. My card was full. I had to find another card to put in my camera. So we're going to make our little marks all the way up. So I just want you to go down somewhere and come back up into this area. So when you pull, leave a loop. We're going to go through the loop. This is just my thing. I don't know if it's a stitch. I don't know. I just did it and I liked it. And then I'm just going to pull up. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go down. Sorry, I'm going to go this way. I forgot what I did. So I went down into the same stitch. I came up. I pulled through the miles of yarn. I went through the stitch. So I pulled down and then I pulled up, and that's how I made those markings. So go down into the same space you were just in and pop out in another spot. You're going this way up the star thing. Pull until you get a loop. Go through the loop. Pull down just to make it smaller, and then pull up, and it does that. So it's just what I decided to do. If you know a better way, you can knock your socks off. I don't even, like I said, I don't even know if this is a stitch. Through the loop. Pull down, pull up. So it's going to loosen when you let go of it, obviously, but each time you do it, it's going to tighten the whole roll. It just won't tighten that one stitch. It'll pull everything as it's all attached. Oops. Go through the loop properly. So just pull it down so you make it small and then pull it up. So now that I'm at the top, pull it to make sure that it's all tight. And then I'm going to, again, go down the same hole. And I'm just moving my yarn at this point. I'm not sewing. So I'm going to move my yarn down back up to the middle, however way you want to do it. If you've got an extra long hook, then that's great. Or needles, sorry. Me, I don't, so I had to come out into a rest spot. And then I'm going to come back out to the middle. Again, I'm not sewing, I'm just moving my yarn. So, I'm back up to the middle and I'm going to do the next one. So I'm just going to go right next door to where I came off because I don't need to restart like what we did at the beginning. I don't need to do that every time. I just need to start doing my stitches. So that is my white. I'm just going to come out the bottom side now. If you pull too hard, you can just pop it back out. So I've got a lot of white left, but I'm going to cut some of it off. So we have our knot here from where we started. I'm just going to make another knot. And I'm going to poke both of them down. So you can make this one a double or a single, it doesn't matter. But when you cut it off, make sure you leave a little bit of a nubby. I'm just going to shorten my nubby on that one. And then poke these down. Get them out of the way. So you can leave it like this if you want, or you can raise. I raised all of this because that's what it's so hard to see on camera, but I raised all of the all along the white because that's how it is with a starfish. So you just needed a piece of pink or whatever color you're using. You're gonna do the same thing. You're gonna make a knot. So it doesn't matter where you come in, it just matters where you come out. So I want obviously my knot to be at the back here. So I am going to come out the top where I need to start my one of my ridges. I feel there's more sewing in this project than there is anything. So to start, I'm going to go right next door to my lead, and I'm going to go on a diagonal, and I'm going to pop out across from my lead. This is just to get started. This isn't how we're going to do it. So you can squeeze and pull. I'm going to go back in next door, and I'm going to pop out where I went in the last time. So this is just to get started. So pinch and pull. So what you're going to do the whole way around is you're going to go into the next stitch, or you can go wider, it doesn't matter, it's up to you how wide you want to go and how wide you want to go out this way and how wide you want to go between your lead and where you go in. But you're going to go in right next to your lead wherever. You're going to pop out wherever, depends on the width that you want, and you're going to pull. And you're going to pinch at the same time. then you're going to go right in next door again, preferably in the same kind of a width, and that's all you're going to do. You're just going to go back and forth, pulling and pinching, and it raises, you can see on your own project that it raises this area. So you can choose whether you want to do this or not. It actually goes fairly quickly when I'm not, you know, teaching. It goes fairly quick. And like I said, you can go as close or as wide as you want. I generally get wider as I go up. So ultimately all it's doing is giving it a raised look, which is what a starfish has, is this raised look. So you don't have to go all the way to the center. You can start your next raised look here. So go in next to your, actually let me go one more because I think I'm a little far away. Let me go, I'm just going to do a small one. Oops. I'm not doing that right. Now I'm trying to do a whip stitch. Alright, let me thread this again. I'm going to go in one more. So, when I come back around to this side to go back in, I'm going to scooch over here so I can start this side. So I'm basically coming out the same hole I just went in. And then I'm going to start across this way. But I'm going to start diagonally, just like we started our last one. We're going to start this one the exact same way. So pull and pinch. You've got all this extra space to be able to pull and pinch, and this will lift this right up. So now just come across and do your cross stitches. So when you get up to the top of this, you're going to have to do the same thing that you did with your white. You're just going to have to move your yarn. That's it. Easy peasy. So I'm just going to go down into my magic ring from where I did that thing. Now I don't have a long enough needle to go all the way back down, so I got to move mine. Go back down into the same hole and pop out where you want to start your next ridge. And start it all over again. So I got all my raised edges and it looks like this. So all I'm going to do is go down into my magic ring like I have been doing with each one, and I'm going to move my yarn to the back where my other one is. Again, if you pull too tight, just clunk that up like that. I am going to tie a knot, and I'm going to poke all of this in, nubby and all. And there we have it. It's our starfish. Thanks for joining me, guys. I'll see you in the next video.